Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Right, well, I feel welcome. Dit is my home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
Hello everyone and welcome back to Mufc Realist TV. I'm Mick and welcome back to this channel again. Today we're going to talk about the topic that has been buzzing for the past 11 months since the Glazers announced the sales process of Manchester United, and it's been baffling the world with contradictory reports in the media. It is simply the scoop of the century. That's right, we are diving hot into the debate why Glazers need to sell Manchester United. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, let's take a quick look at the current state of affairs and why Manchester United, what I personally believe, it's run its course, the Glazers run its course, and why they need to sell the club. Well, first and foremost, it's arguably to say it's the most storied football club, iconic club in the world, that's going through some rough patches over the past recent years, from lackluster performance to the pitch, to managerial changes, to internal conflicts. It's safe to say that the glory days seems to be a distant memory as we stand today. The standard has dropped, bankers are running the club with no vision, with no cohesion. So it doesn't really matter if you purchase a squad, assemble a squad and spend 1 billion on a simple players. This is a mismatch when you don't have a culture, when you don't have a vision, when you don't have a proper plan. Simply just buying players for increasing to boost your overall valuation is simply not the answer. We've seen the recipe. We've seen the sacking of the manager doesn't work. As soon as something goes wrong, the ownership seems to be having a playbook to deflect and blame it on the managers. Glazers has been known for not communicating to the fan base. The policy is always to be silent. So it's arguably to say, so ever since they came out with the statement that November before Thanksgiving that they are looking for strategical investment, it's been a roller coaster ride. Emotionally for fan base, thinking, well, fantastic, now we can finally get some new structure, we can go to the transfer market, we can back the manager, current manager Erik ten Hag, to get the signings that he wants. Now 11 months down the track, or 10 months, has it really happened? Let's talk about it. So ever since they came back with that statement in November, there's been shadow bidding. We all know the story. It's been Rain Group handling, minority investors, it's been bidding processes leading down to shortlists of 2 candidates, which is Ineos, led by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and the Qataris, led by Night 2 Holding Foundation and Sheikh Yassim. So why do the Glazers need to sell club at the current stage? Well, it's been numerous reports in the media saying the sales is off. There's been other contradictory reports that the sales is on. There's been Bloomberg, Reuters, there's been Daily Mail, there's been the Guardians, there's been the Mike Keegans, there's been me, there's been everyone reporting about this story. But let's start from the financial aspect. As per this channel, I always following the facts, the financial strains, the logic and reasoning, and the Glazers family, who acquired basically Manchester United back in 2005 by Malcolm Glazer, is known for the heavily debt-ridden takeover. Like they purchased the club over, leveraged takeover, but ever since then the debt has kind of risen. Not spending one single dollar of their own, but basically bankrolling through the partnership of Bank of America, right? That's all we know. So on the lack of investments back into the club by just taking dividends over the past 18 years, I mean, you hit the wall, or you kick the can as far as you can, right? We've seen the financial reports that we've been milking out as much as we can. We've been taking a lot of credits, including the transfer market, to buy certain players, but eventually that credit line stops. It is the end of the road for the Glazers. Going back in January, where the financial reports came out, they had a board meeting and pretty much said, no, you cannot take any more dividends out. So that is kind of the blow for the Glazers. They were kind of using Manchester United as an ATM cash machine to cash out every 3 months for the 6 siblings. Now, if you cannot cash out any further, I don't see any point for staying. if you know what I mean. So this takeover negotiations with Rainy Group has been going on for 10 months almost, and there's been bids coming right center. There's been evaluation of the club, and arguably to say that if you look at how much Newcastle went for and Chelsea came for, the evaluation what the Glazers want to walk away from the club as they need the cash right here, right now, it's been reported around 6 billion. 6 billion. That is a lot of money for something that is not worth that much. And even Ineos looked at it, and even 92 Holding Foundation looked at it and scratched their head. But at the end of the day, this is such a lucrative club. This is the biggest club in the world. As you can see, the future earnings, what came out on the weekend with the Daily Mail to say that they're looking for 10 billion. Well, why so? Well, hang on. TV rights is increasing. They're going to introduce VR, body cams on players and stuff like that. But that is not now. That is more like for the future technology. Like 2025 is far away. But at the end of the day, if you bankrolled everything, if you are in credit, the Bank of America came out to say, we are in the biggest financial crisis at the moment. You guys need to repay us right here, right now, before 2025. Now, the Glazers, on the other hand, don't want to dip in the pockets. They are themselves in a financial crisis with the Buccaneers as well. We are currently living in the biggest credit crisis the world has ever seen. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse. To stay, how are you going to operate the club? We've seen with the transfer market window. So where do we stand in the current situation then? We've seen the transfer window. It was true. The money that was used for the transfer market was pledged back in December, January. If you remember, we didn't go in the January transfer market to buy players. We went on loans because we didn't have the money. Because that money was credit roll, was an overdraft from Bank of America, approximately 120, 150, that was given for the summer window. So what did Manchester United do? What did Murta do? What did Ten Hag do? Well, of course, they planned it accordingly. They identified certain targets within the budget, but then they had to go and sell to generate money. If you look at the current situation once the transfer window has closed, we have actually sold 23 players from the youth academy including. We have loaned out 4 and we signed 7 in total. I'm not going to go into net spend, but it's always been to balance that books, to generate more money so you can purchase certain things. But at the end of the day, when it came down to buy Sofian Amrabat, we simply didn't have the money. We have to finesse the deals. We have to go on the loan market again. And that tells me that the Glazers are not willing to invest more into the club. They are stint. They are broke in a certain way, if you know what I mean. So the overall argument for the Glazers to sell Manchester United simply boils down to the mismanagement of the club, both financially and footballing wise, as we know it. We fans, we believe that the new ownership in terms of 92 Holding Foundation and Sheikh Yassim is the winning bid, boils down to the genuine passion what they've shown within the manifesto to reinvest in the club's success, to reinvest in the women's team, to build a new stadium or refurbish, simply clear the debt. It's been shit show of Glazers, and basically in the current situation what explained in financial terms how you're going to operate the club. You had look at all the financial minority investors that's walked away. You have tried to stay as long as you can to milk out as much money as you can, but eventually, you kicked the can as far as you could. That hit the brick wall at the moment. The stock market we've seen in the past couple of days fell down 500 million. 500 million. That is a massive loss for them, right? Eventually boils down to what we always say on this channel is that was, the argument for having new ownership was to get them in before the transfer window so we can enable Ten Hag to get these targets what he wanted. Even the fans was getting giddy, including myself and everyone else, said, wow, we can get an Mbappe, we can get Harry Kane, but that was never the case. That was never the case, people. So why would you all of a sudden in the middle of a transfer window to have an announcement. The strategy was to appoint Mark Hargreaves to be the chief negotiator, to go to the market, to finesse the deals, to say, listen, we're not going to overpay, but we are kind of broke. We don't have new ownership, so we're going to get the Ten Hag's first choice targets. We're getting Mason Mount in, we're going to get the goalkeeping, we're going to get the striker, and then we're going to focus on selling a lot of players and trying, for God forbid, to get rid of the dead woods, which was a very hard task to do. And on top of everything, you had the Mason Greenwood situation story that was causing a media frenzy. So looking at the takeover, looking at the transfer market, Mason Greenwood, now that is all over. I mean, at least two of the stories is over. Like we finished off the transfer market, we shipped off Mason Greenwood, and now it's the takeover left. Now we have to focus on getting the Glazers out as far as we can. There's been reports saying that sales might be taking place in October, announcement might be taking place in November, October, November, September, but I'm just saying, does it really matter at this point of time? As long as we get them out of this club. That is my argument for today's video. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, but sooner or later I don't see any other solution for the Glazers to sell up. Now I don't see Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Ineos being in the race at the moment, because we've seen that Glazers need cash, liquidity. Ineos don't have that liquidity. They are not cash rich, they're asset rich. In order for them to move assets, it's going to take years to do so and to get approval from their board as well. While on the other hand, you have 92 Holding Foundation that are willing to invest money, but not as much as 10 billion, sorry to say. The club is worth maximum 4.5. But on the other hand, if you do get an offer in today's market on 6 billion, I would take it and I would run if I was the Glazers. That's it for today's video, as there's nothing more to say in this matter other than to keep the pressure on, because right here, right now, we need to stay focused. We need to stay united against the Glazers to keep our voices heard. Back the manager. Don't let the media throw the manager under the bus. That is the Glazers' tragedy. I want to hear your topics around this video. Leave your comments below. Do you agree that the Glazers need to leave Manchester United right now, or are you happy to say as long as it takes place this year? Because if you look at it, if we get new ownerships in, let's say, October, November, then we still have the January transfer market to address, because we are competing in Champions League, and that is the second half of that season. Let me know in the comments below. It's been Mick Ruby from Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video if you haven't, or this channel, for more footballing content discussions. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Thanks, bye for now.